Hi there, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I made a video and I want to let all my Zoom friends know it's coming very soon. I'm waiting for my guitar to have the bone nut cut on my Fender, and it's just taking a little bit of time. And I don't want to rush anybody, so I'm waiting till I get that guitar and I'm going to start tracking. And I've got this new cabinet. I'm going to have one mic here, one mic there. I'll have 6 speakers going. So I'm going to do some new stuff with the Zoom, talk about how I set everything up, and I think it'll be informative and helpful. Today I wanted to continue my tube rolling experiment. So right here I have another 12AT7, and the reason that I wanted to do this one, this is the 6679. The reason I wanted to do it is because I had read about this tube when I was doing research on the phase inverter position, the 12AT7 with the Fender Deluxe. And this one was made back in the 50s and 60s for GE mobile applications. So like say you're going to make a mobile radio with tubes. Maybe it was going to be in the field, maybe for the military, who knows. I need to look up these General Electric mobile radios to see what they were like. But they were filled with tubes, obviously, and this would have been the 12AT7 that was in that radio. And the reason that this tube is different or significant is because it's made to not drop. I think it has a -20 voltage drop on it, or plus or minus 20 voltage drop. So if you're running battery power and you're losing voltage, it has to get really drained of power, 20% or whatever. I'm not sure how that works. I don't know what those tolerances actually mean, but I know that what it means is that if you lose battery power on your batteries that are running the radio, the tube continues to run at full voltage. It's able to continue to draw, and it can run on that amount of voltage, so that you don't get the drop. Even though you're losing power in your batteries, the tube is still running strong. So I thought potentially that might sound different in the amp, especially with it plugged straight in with a short cable, so we're not adding a lot of capacitance. Maybe we'll hear a difference. I don't think, reviewing the last videos I made last week, I don't think you can really tell from those videos. What I could tell from in the room is that the RCA tube was really sounded right, the orange RCA labeled tube, which is interesting because I've learned through other opinions, people out there in the world of tubes and Fender Deluxes, there's some kind of synergy with that tube, the orange RCA. A lot of people just think it sounds right with the Fender, which is interesting because that's the one I ended up leaving in there. But I also thought that the Jan tube was quite good, and the 6601, and I may be getting that wrong, and I'll correct it in the notes, in the comments. But that tube was also good. So I thought it was between that tube and the orange RCA that I left in. So I'll play it really quickly with the RCA in there. That's in there right now, just so you can hear that through the camera. Not super duper awesome audio, but enough to hear what's going on. And then we'll put this one in, the 6679, and see if we can hear a difference, because what makes this tube different is that it holds that voltage level, which might make it sound different, I don't know. It's also a little taller. So if you were putting it in an amp where you had, where that could be an issue, with the Deluxe, the tubes hang down and there's nothing underneath, so it won't matter, I don't think. But that could be a consideration with some amps, or with, who knows, you may have a mod or whatever. Just to know that the tube is a little taller than average. Okay, so this is the RCA that's been in there, the last one I left in there. We'll just play a few chords. It's at 7. I've got bass at 3, treble at 4. And I don't want to blow the speaker up, so I'm not going to push it much past 7. We'll just play a few chords and see what it sounds like. I'm going to switch out the tube and we'll see if there's any difference at all. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it off and hope that the tube's cooled down enough it doesn't burn my fingers. I want to do another disclaimer, another little warning. Anytime you're messing around with the back of your amp or mess around with tubes. They get really hot. You know, we're talking electricity here. Just use caution. Be careful, because you know, I don't want to be responsible for hurting anybody. Actually, to be safe, we'll unplug it. If you really wanted to be safe, you drain the caps or whatever. But we're just pulling a tube, and so we should be fine here. I'm going to find it. Pull straight down. Look at the orientation just so that we can line the next one up in a similar fashion. So we pulled the RCA. Pulled the RCA. And now we're going to go in with the GE6679 for mobile applications tube. And it has a tolerance of plus minus 20 on the voltage. So there's no voltage drop, or at least as you're losing power, you're not going to lose the tube first. The tube will hang on. Oh, and it went right in there. I love it when that happens. Nice, good pins that are nice and straight. Okay, so let's see if we can hear any difference. I don't want to waste your time because I know these aren't great sounding demos, and when you don't hear any difference, you're like, what's the point of tube rolling? But at home, and when you're really sitting with your amp and discerning, you will hear a difference, and it'll make a difference to you in the end if you choose all the tubes and really pick the ones that sound the best for you. I think it's a worthy endeavor. And it's a fun way to, oops, forgot to turn it on. Forgot to plug it in, I mean. It's a fun way to get going on tweaking your sound and learning more about tube amps. Okay, so here we go. Let's wait for it to come up. See if we hear any difference. It's lighting up nicely. I don't expect to hear a big difference, but I just wanted to see what would happen. And while I'm waiting to see what happened, I might as well make a video, right? Let you see. Okay, here we go. I feel more power. Like, once again, like I said in the other video, it's like a new pair of shoes. You know, it's not a huge change, but you can feel it in the room, and it could be just because this is the second tube, so it somehow sounds better to me. But I think that the amp just sounds like it's more alive. That's the main difference. It's like just a little more on-tap power, like that's apparent, and it sounds like it may be a little cleaner on the top end, like maybe it's putting a little more headroom in almost. Okay, so tube rolling is fun. The next time I do this, I'll do it with 12AX7s in like the P1, I mean in the V1 position. It's like the first preamp tube, and that usually makes a bigger difference. And we could also tube roll output tubes like 6v6s because this amp is starting to really sound good. And I really like the idea of pulling the tube on the trim side and giving all of the power to this first channel, which I think just sounds incredible. So I'm having fun with this amp. The next couple of videos I'll make will be about BYOC pedals, which really give you a lot of versatility with something like a Deluxe. Alright, so tube rolling, have fun with it. I think it's fun, and you really can start to craft your tone and learn a lot about what makes valve amps, you know, sound so great. Alright, next time.